everyone, I am Jody Berry and I am the marketing director here at AWD, and I also write specs for the company, so I may have worked with some of you on a couple projects. We are so glad that you are joining us live. These Hump Day How-Tos have been pretty fun to do, even though I'm a little nervous to do it. Whether you guys are joining us on your lunch break or while the kiddos are napping, we hope that you learn a little something new today. We are talking about mixing metals. This is a trend that has been around for a couple of years now, but we really see a major resurgence in these bronzy, brass, gold fixtures that have become a wonderful pop in the spaces that we're designing. And so we wanted to tell you a little bit about how we approach it. First though, I want to talk to you about your metal finishes in general, your plumbing fixtures, your hardware, your appliances, all these metal finishes coming together. What are your options for them? Every company, plumbing, lighting, has tons of finishes. They will have a bronze finish that is aged, that is antiqued, that is polished, as you can see from the table, every single different company has a multitude of finishes to choose from. So today I just want to touch base on a few of the primary standard across the board. Most companies have these finishes, and then we'll get into kind of ways that you can start mixing and matching them like a pro. So first we have polished chrome. Polished chrome is a very common finish. It has been around for a long time, and we actually see it coming to the forefront again. It is probably your most economical from a cost standpoint, but it also is super durable, and almost every company is going to have a polished chrome finish. It's has a lot of great shine that when you pop it against maybe a brushed finish is really going to pop. Even though it's an economical piece, it is going to look like $1 million when you pop it against something else. Next we have our nickel finishes. Brushed nickel, satin nickel is extremely common. You see it a lot. It is also fairly cost effective and is also extremely durable. We do this a lot when we want to match it to a stainless steel. If you have stainless steel appliances, many satin nickels across the board are going to look relatively similar. So that is a great option as a base finish. We also have polished nickel, which is stunning. So nickel compared to chrome is going to have a little bit more warmth to it. I don't know if you can tell that from the camera, and I'm shaking because I'm nervous. Polished chrome is a little cooler in finish, and nickel has this really nice warmth to it. It is going to be pricier than your chrome, but it is stunning in person and a great finish to have. Next, we're going to move to our brass finishes. So like I said, these are kind of the finishes that are coming to the forefront. This polished brass, brushed brass, there's the antique. Like I said, every company has something different, but these gold finishes, the warm hues that pop really nice against your cooler finishes, are really where it's at right now and extremely trendy. Next we have our oil rubbed bronze. Oil rubbed bronze has been around for a long time. It is a great finish that can go super traditional. A lot of Mediterranean homes tend to go this direction. But as we can see, a lot of things that we saw at market, a lot of the lighting companies are really doing a lot of the bronze and making it super modern, and mixing it with this brass is just a 10. Next we have copper. You don't see copper a ton. Copper tends to have a patina if it doesn't have a great finish on it. And some people like it, some people don't, but it has this really nice rosy color, kind of like the rose gold that is very popular right now. One thing I do want to mention about your metal finishes, most companies are going to have a lifetime finish on their fixtures. So that lifetime finish is a coating that will preserve and maintain the beauty of the piece. It won't show wear. It'll help to make it last longer. Some companies, however, a lot of your higher end companies offer what we call a living finish, and that means that it is not lacquered. Your piece is not lacquered. It actually is going to react over time to the oils that are in your hand. So you'll get highlights and low lights based on what you're touching and how it's reacting. A lot of people really like that. It adds a lot of depth, a lot of character to your pieces. Some people don't care for that, and if that's the case, then you would probably want to pick something with a lifetime finish that you don't have to maintain or keep up. But just know that when you're picking a finish, know the characteristics and the properties of that metal, because if you are going with a living finish, it is going to show age and wear over time, which, like I said, it can be very beautiful and stunning. So I pulled up a few options. I pulled some pictures for you of some examples, some great examples of mixed metals that we think were done very successfully. And I have a few tips for you. The first tip I have is pick kind of a base finish for your house. Something, a finish like an oil rubbed bronze or a satin nickel that are really great neutral finishes that you can put on your appliances, on your door hardware, on maybe your shower enclosures, pieces that might be a little pricier and just stay put. And then pop your accent pieces, those brassy gold finishes, on what we consider the jewelry of the space, the cabinet hardware, the light fixtures, the things that are really gonna say wow when you walk in the space. And then that way everything's not too cluttered or disorganized. You've got a nice base, and then you're drawing your attention to these really wow finishes. I do want to point out, I think that you should pick two distinct finishes. If you're going to mix two finishes, pick something that's distinct. I would not personally recommend going with a brushed nickel and a polished chrome. I think that they're too similar. It will just look like a mistake unless it's done really well. So I would recommend picking something that, like I said, has some contrast, has some wow, and brings some great visual interest to your space. So, for example, I have this great picture here. In this example for this kitchen, they went with a base stainless steel for their appliances, for their plumbing. You can see it over here. And then they popped in these great brass, satin brass fixtures with the hardware, and then even this nice detail up there. It adds so much dimension and personality to the space. I think that that was done really successfully. Here's another great picture. I also recommend at least doing two, if you're throwing in a different finish, do at least two elements in the space in that finish so it looks really planned. So for example, they've got their satin nickel as their background, and then they're popping in this coppery color on the light fixture and the hardware. It makes it look like it's not just in one spot and unintentional. But like I said, this is something easy you can do if you already have satin nickel plumbing fixtures and stainless steel appliances. You already have the base right there, and that you don't have to change. Look at something like the jewelry to change out. It's a little bit easier and more cost effective. I also want to point out, it's not just your bathrooms and your kitchens that you can apply this mixed metal idea to. I actually think this was done very successfully. They've got their silver finishes on their chairs and then this great coffee table, but then they pop in the brassy gold on this side table, and then they actually carry that warm gold yellow hue into their soft furnishings, which I think was done very successfully in this picture and actually ties the whole piece together, combining your hard finishes and your soft finishes. If you're really intimidated by this whole idea, go with a fixture that already has two tones to get you started. Arteriors Home is doing these great fixtures. This one has a matte black with it looks like a satin nickel in there. This fixture has a two-tone. This one's got a nice brassy finish on the inside. If you just scroll through their website, a lot of mixed finishes that can kind of get you set up for the rest of your project. We showcased this new product in Ashley's Hump Day How-To a couple months ago, but this is by Brizio. It's not even online yet. It was just rolled out, but it is this matte black finish with this beautiful satin gold handle. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Beautiful. I feel like I might be missing something. A couple other examples. This one I thought was done very well. okay. For some reason it tags things. So they went with a brushed finish, a brushed brass finish for their light fixtures and their mirrors and their hardware. And then they juxtaposed that with this really shiny polished chrome. So even thinking about whether you're going with a matte finish, a brushed finish versus a shiny finish, gives a lot of interest and character. The last thing I want to note is that you don't even have to be afraid of doing 3 finishes. It can work well, as in this example. So here they went with an oil rub bronze for a couple of their fixtures, but what I love about this is the oil rub bronze actually reads as a black, which ties in with their black granite and even the black of their stovetop. That can even be a design element. So those kind of fade into the background and read as a neutral. And then here they have their satin nickel and their stainless steel, and then pop in with those amazing brassy fixtures. It's just, it all works. So it's definitely doable. You can do it too. Just experiment and throw some jewelry in your space and make it wonderful. So hopefully you learned something. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. We will get back with you with any other tips that we have. And join us every first Wednesday of the month at noon. We will have another Hump Day How-To. Hopefully Amanda will be our guest star next month, so you want to be here. So thank you for joining us.